How do you ask for sex respectfully? If I say I am cold, my fiancé will sometimes say, do you need me to warm you up? Sometimes it turns into sex. Other times he makes me a cup of tea. So I am always a winner. Unfortunately, he has now been Pavlov's dog into getting turned on when I am cold though. Our first time my husband said, are you okay with where this is going? I thought it was sweet and respectful. That depends if you have the same idea of where it is going though. If he starts inflating a kiddie pool on the bedroom floor you might have to retract your consent. Or double down on it depending. Fancy a shack for old time's sake. Actually worked with an ex-GF. I knew a dude who was a pretty big cunt. But before he was a cunt, his GF told me that he would always just say consent when asking for sex. As a married guy, I find most of the time it involves one or the other looking over at the other, making eye contact, and then saying sex in a silly voice. Seems to work. We state that we have washed recently and that the other person should also wash, then maybe we can duck. It works about 50% of the time. The rest of the time it is taken as just good advice being given out. I knock at the door when my partner is showering and yell I join. If he is at his desk I yell, are you on Discord? And if not sex. Sometimes I'm sad that we have not had sex and I tell him I'm sad because there was no sex for a long time. Which often leads to sex. For me, especially if it is with someone I have not been with before, but we are getting more intimate, I literally just ask, would you like to have sex? Never had a problem with this in terms of their reaction to it, positive or negative. The phrase when I was in college is to ask if they would DTF. Down to duck. It was especially hilarious because the place I would always go clubbing was downtown Fullerton. So we'd DTF and DTF. A better question is how do you do it in a sexy way? Try phrases like can I, would you like me to? There are also clear non-verbal cues in some instances. That is if they start taking their clothes off you can too. Dr. WTF are you doing? You were taking off your clothes. So I thought I could too. I went to my doctor for a checkup. He said, you have to stop jacking off. Why? I asked. Because I'm trying to do your physical. Dear Sir Madam, I'm writing to inform you of a recent development in my genital region. Upon viewing your countenance, it has come to my attention that a merger of our two aforementioned regions would be profitable for both of us. As my own region is primed for such a business endeavor, I do hope you consider this proposal favorably. And if so I will be more than happy to book in some time with you to go through the finer details of this arrangement positioning. Length of contract, ECT. If you could let me know your decision on this matter by the end of the week, we can get the balls rolling. Sincerely, a horny male female. Because a lot of answers in this thread are jokes, I want to give you a sincere one. It depends. Here are some scenarios. If you just want to have sex, not really a relationship in a dating app, or at a date I am searching for something casual. How about you? When you remaking out somewhere outside wanna go back to your place. When you remaking out at someone else's place wanna move this to the bedroom. When you remaking out on the bed can I take your shirt off? When you are already naked can you put it in? You could also tell the other person what you would like to do, rather than asking a question like I would really like to kiss you right now, but that may requires interpreting their body language. If you have problems with that, just stick to the questions. Good luck. Edit. There are some people who claim that can I put it in is unnecessary. I sometimes like my foreplay to last a little longer, so I think it is a valid one to ask. Alternatively, instead of saying can you put it in, you can say, do you want to keep going? Do you want to go further? Or is this okay? While touching or doing stuff with them. You probably asked a serious question, so I'm going to tell you what has worked out well for me. Soon at 40. Wanna make out? Simple as that. If there is a no biggie. Make sure he or she is not uncomfortable and move on. If there is hesitation, use your judgment. Is there any way they might feel pressured, for example? If there is a yes, go ahead. Making out is a good start. Some people want to leave it at that, but if you have a nice time they will probably want some more later. Obviously you ask the question in person. and in such a setting as to not make the person feel pressured or uncomfortable. For me, a respectful no is much more comfortable than a maybe most of the time. I have gotten flat no's that have turned out to really be maybe yes, and thanks for being so forward in chat a few days later. An enthusiastic yes later. And most importantly, do not be a dick about a number. One cannot stress this enough. Some guys get super pissy online when turned down. Some even start spewing sarcastic shit when the reply is not fast enough. I have seen some hair-raising chats that girls have shown me. Some emotionally stunted dudes seem to think the world owes them a hot duck, and using an app seems to them like a neat technical solution to an interpersonal challenge they have a hard time dealing with. And when it does not work, they become cold animals. I was texting a guy once. He was a friend of a friend. We were all out for drinks and he straight up texted me whilst sitting next to me saying, "Can I finger you under the table?" We had not even kissed or anything at this point. I said that is a hard no from me, and he got pissy and stopped texting me. When I know my wife is tired, exhausted and not interested in having sex, I wait for her to lay down in bed to get in a relaxed state. From that moment on, I do a flying squirrel spirit bomb belly flop right next to her in my underwear and yell one of two things. "Yo woman, are we gonna duck and bang, or what? Or you ready to get them cheeks clapped?" Then we scroll through our phones, laugh at some shit on Reddit, and go to bed. So I can personally attest that these two ways of asking have so far had a 0% success rate. Depends on context and the nature of your relationship. One of my partners was pretty timid, and although loved sex, I had to be coy and charming. That was her turn on. Next partner, all I had to do was send a text like "you better be oiled up and naked in handcuffs when I get home, or I'm throwing you out on the street." People are all different. There is no way to ask for sex. You just need to learn how to talk to and learn people. Once you learn a person, you would not be confused about how to ask them for things. With my GF, if I'm horny, I just kiss her passionately out of the blue. From there, I just watch her respond. If she answers with another passionate kiss, I continue. If at some point she starts doing another thing, or gives me a non-passionate kiss like a small kiss followed by a cute smile, I just stop there. My wife just agended an appointment for sex on Wednesday morning. Because the kids will all be out. It has been so long. I have stopped asking more or less permanently. Something will happen before Wednesday morning that will cancel the appointment. I'm pretty sure. Something always does. Fuck my life. When my husband and I were still in our dating phase, our first time being intimate started with the usual kissing and such. I thought it was a foregone conclusion what was going to transpire, but he stopped suddenly and asked, "May I make love to you?" To which I of course answered, "Please do." After being married for a while, it has come to either me saying, "Do you wanna do it?" or my wife saying, "Take off your pants." When I initiate, it is 30-70 that we do or do not. When she does, it is 100%. If you are in a relationship or even just sleeping with someone, you have got an expectation of monogamy, with the best thing to do is ask them how they like to be propositioned, or if there are other ways for you to indicate you are in the mood, or even directly initiate sex yourself. My wife is okay with, "Hey, let us go have sex," whenever I'm feeling it, but there are plenty of women people who would be turned off by such a direct suggestion. Communication with your partner can improve every aspect of your sex life, including the communication itself. Kind of depends on the situation. Are you dating the person? Is there only a mutual attraction? Have there been any hints dropped? Etc. That being said, I've never asked for sex. I guess I've always just known when the mood is right, when the date is nearing conclusion. It just comes down to what you're comfortable with doing. If you don't want to be assertive, then being blunt could be a decent option. I like you a lot, and I really feel like we've connected. I want to be as respectful as possible though. So do you want me to hit it from the back? When I was not single as I'm today, it was all about non-verbal cues. A series of kisses or light nibbling of the neck is a good one. Light grazing with fingers or nails up the back or on the thighs. A cuddle with a bit too much of the hips. A rejection of those is pretty apparent as well. Hands getting moved. Progression stopped. Or maybe it was just not tonight. Sweetie. It needs to be in a situation where it is actually reasonable that sex might happen. It is generally best when you both turned on, want to have sex, is perfectly sufficient. Just do it when they already want to. Don't try to create the desire with a question. So this will definitely get lost. But my boyfriend that I have had for 5 years was the only person ever to ask for consent. Everyone else I've ever been with just tries to see what they can get and only takes no as that to stop. For the first year we started seeing each other, my boyfriend always asked, "Do you want me to?" Now he still asks for consent, but in the form of "Do you want to have sex?" I don't know why people get weird about this. Asking explicitly is fine. Asking non-verbally, also fine. It is super clear when someone does not want sex. Respect is more about paying attention to the other person than your choice lack of words. I have proposed intimacy by touching a woman's hip suggestively before we were already kissing. This was not like a stranger on the bus. She smiled and took my hand off her hip. That was a number worked fine. Neither of us were hurt and we kept kissing. Respect is not about what words you use. It is your state of mind. Respect your partner and you will automatically be respectful. That is just how communication works. Also, if you are on the spectrum or otherwise have difficulty with non-verbal signals, then my answer does not apply. You had probably want things to be verbal and unambiguous. In my younger years, I was at a house party. A girl that I was attracted to and I was working with was attending the party. I had party favors on me that evening. After some prattle between her and I was about to ask if she would like to partake. I initially asked if she had work the next day as to be considerate to not screw up her shift. When she said she didn't, I followed up with, "Well, in that case, would you like to?" She interrupts and says, "Go home with you tonight." Yes I would. So sometimes all you need to do is initiate the question and you lines get an answer. When I was 32, I asked a friend's friend for sex. She was 21. She said yes. We made a date and I paid for a Sheraton hotel room. Now, I have been turned down a lot with more subtle asks, but that time, since there was some new chemistry, it worked. I'm a cheeky Indian guy, by the way. Tall. Kinda fat. I was in shape then. Some hope from us guys who do not get a lot of screen time. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.